Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Wife Wanted an Open Relationship. Now after she's tried it, she wants to call it off. I've not had a chance to try it yet. How should I feel or react about this situation? And guys, this story definitely falls into why I say we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. And of course, you can't make this SHIT up. This is about a guy who very foolishly married and had a child with an exotic dancer. And to no surprise, the saying, you can't turn a you-know-what into a housewife is relevant here. And you're going to see in this story, she has a history of cheating on him, except he still stays with her and buys into her BS. And lately, the newest thing is she wants an open relationship. Permission to cheat. However, you're going to see real quick, she doesn't want him to cheat. She wants to have all the fun, but he can't. What a great deal for her. And this whole roller coaster drama he goes through. And eventually, thank the Lord, this guy comes to his senses. But he has to go through a lot of BS to go through that. And not to mention the fact, because this story is in multiple parts, have people in the comments section tear him a new one for him to wake the hell up. So it goes to show when these guys post these stories and people comment and tell them to wake the hell up or get their shit together, some listen and act accordingly. They wake up. Guys get through their thick skulls, which is great. So ultimately, this guy will, thank the Lord, come to his senses and we can all be proud of him. But good Lord, what he goes through. But this is not going to surprise any of you. So this is a good story how you can't get involved with these types of people. You don't turn a HOE into a housewife. And you don't accept open marriages. And if a girl cheats, you kick her to the curb, etc., etc. Definitely a good one here. And yes, there's going to be moments here, guys. You're going to want to smack them as much as me. But remember, a lot of guys are that clueless, but they learn, so that's a good thing. So it starts off, he says here, bear with me as I attempt to remain as unbiased as possible. About 2 weeks ago, after a series of strenuous and difficult times in our relationship, particularly revolving around SCX, my wife decided she wanted to try an open relationship. And that's when you leave. But no. It is important to know a few things, although I won't and don't have time to write about everything. First, my wife has had consistent fidelity issues. Fidelity issues, you mean she's a freaking cheater. And why is she having issues as in plural, as in many? Because you allowed her to. She claims or thinks that she is a mild nympho or just hypersexual. She said in verbatim words, it's not you, you're great. I just don't think one man will ever fully satisfy me in that department. Well, aren't these things you want to establish before you actually marry her? Or did this come about after he put a ring on her finger? At first, I was absolutely appalled. However, I tried to keep an open mind as we thought it out over the next few days. At first, when I agreed it was conditional, there were a certain amount of rules. Rules, huh? Who made these rules? And do you think she's going to abide by these rules by a guy who she's cheated on tons of times and has always taken her back? Come on. But let's hear these rules. Rule number 1. No one from our past to avoid redevelopment of intimacy. Rule 2. No one in our car, home, or space we share together as a couple. Rule 3. Don't make the other person or our son suffer via schedule to make time for the other individuals. Rule 4. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't lie to me if I ask, but the most part let's mind our own business. Rule 5. Make sure your new friends understand their place in the world because you told them upfront your intentions and where they stand within that structure. I shouldn't have to defend mine or her honor. And Rule 6, that I absolutely wouldn't accept her going home with men she met at a strip club yet that she works for. Oh yeah, she's an exotic dancer. Smack! Are you out of your mind? You married her? Come on. I've done articles similar, stories similar, and I always get comments from guys that worked in those clubs, bouncers, bartenders, and their description of the gals that work there, they're not exactly the girl you bring home to mama. They aren't exactly marriage material. Oftentimes, there's lots of substance abuse and all sorts of problems. So you don't marry them. But they find, sadly, their sucker, their nice guy, right here, who they can do anything to, will keep taking them back for more. Yeah, you're out of your mind. He goes on, after a while, I came to realize that with the exception of a few parts, the rules were counterintuitive and kind of irrelevant. What difference does it make if she sleeps with someone from her past versus some new guy? Here's what's irrelevant. Why are you even making rules? You should have kicked her to the curb, dude. Is it really better or worse for her to have SCX only once per person and therefore skyrocket her body count if she had repeat SCX with the same few individuals, which could potentially lead to the development of emotional ties to said man? She's not capable of having ties to any man, dude. It doesn't really matter. So I told her that the other things based on courtesy, i.e. don't have SCX at our house or in spaces we utilize as a family, or take a shower and brush your teeth post-intercourse and before you cuddle or kiss me or my son. The rules seem to be a moot point. Yeah, I would hope that she'd use her freaking mouthwash and brush her teeth quite a bit before she comes home. A day later, she comes home 2.5 hours after she got off work. Like I said, don't ask, don't tell. Cannot believe he's going along with this. So I left myself to my assumptions. The next morning, we were having a casual conversation about whatever. She looks up and says she did it and how she feels so guilty, even if she was allowed, and the whole lot more following those lines. Yeah, I can tell she feels so guilty. Like all the other times she's cheated on this guy and felt so guilty. I asked if she wants to stop this open relationship. She didn't speak at all. The look on her face said, part of me does, part of me doesn't. To be completely honest, the vibe I got was how much she realized where she was going to feel if I had SCX with another woman, but that she was reluctant to strip her own rights to extramarital intercourse. In order to try and extract her true sentiments or intentions, I boiled down my question. Why don't you want the open relationship? I asked. She responded, I don't want you to have SCX with another girl. So it's okay for her to have her playtime with as many dudes as she wants, but not him. Here's the deal. She is manipulative as F-U-C-K. And she knows what buttons to push with this guy. And she also knows he's obviously so weak. She's thinking, well, I got him to agree to all these things, and he still takes me back. What else can I get him to agree to? I can manipulate him that he doesn't hook up with other girls, but I can get all the sausage I want. Because she might think if he finds another girl, maybe he actually might be a girl that's good to him, maybe, and he'll leave me, and then I lose that paycheck. I lose that emotional support. I lose the ring on my finger. You get the point. So that's what she's figuring. This is what weakness does to women. This is why men that act weak, some out there will do everything they can to take advantage of them and punish them for being weak little bitches. Right here. Always something to learn from these stories, guys. Anyway, it says here, I felt this guilty over me doing it, so I know how it'll be with you. For me and you, that's what she said. Mind you, she has cheated on me several times, although not always intercourse. She claims never intercourse because I've never been able to prove that, but I've proven oral SCX, for example. So there's complete reason to assume. This is not her first extramarital intercourse. Why the hell are you still with her? And I don't want to hear it's just because you have a kid with her, which, by the way, I'm sure we're all thinking this. Is this his kid? Okay, I said, so why do you want an open relationship? She responded, because I feel like I can't mess up, that I can't lose you over cheating on you again, because I will more than likely F it up again. And get this, and because I feel as though you want it, and that's not fair. No kidding. Oh my God. You can just see how she just talks in circles around him and totally mind effing him, and this guy's just like, okay. Now keep in mind, I haven't had SCX with anyone. Well, obviously, she's a dancer, an exotic dancer. She's not going to have a problem finding dudes to hook up with who probably are giving her money in one form or another. Gifts, presents, whatever. This seems unfair to me. Not necessarily due to the eye for an eye mentality, but because she's experimented immediately and wants to call up before I've even had the chance to try. I went into this with an open mind despite my initial feelings. This is why you trust your gut, gentlemen. Now I've allowed another man to have SCX my wife, and she's telling me she doesn't want it anymore. Guess what? She was going to cheat on you anyway. She just wanted permission. Seems hardly fair. From my perspective, she got to get a get out of jail free card and wants to cut up mine before I can do anything. In response to her two questions, I told her I was going to need time to think about how I feel about the situation and what I wanted to do about it. Here's what you need to do. Divorce her. you got plenty of reason that I would certainly hope in the courts, even the most blue-pilled nice guy judge would see that she's a terrible candidate for raising a kid, and you get full custody of your son and move the hell on. Good Lord. But don't worry. This guy will learn, guys. I know you're screaming right now, but he will learn, and he will come out on top. Now some updates. He says here, timeline-wise, we are concurrent with me writing the original post. I'm obviously having many thoughts you are all posting right here. No, I'm not oblivious to my fuckery here. Never have been. I've tried to be slow and patient and loving to my wife the last 3 years based on a few moral principles of mine. Well, you have moral principles, dude, but she does not. I made a commitment, and while I understand she did as well, but broke hers, and I can not control how others keep their word. However, I can control how I keep mine. Also, she struggles with very legitimate and clinically recognized depression and anxiety. Not to say they have served as an excuse or a buy for her, but then again, my patience has been taken for foolery, and therefore, yeah, they kind of have been an excuse. In the midst of struggling with my emotions between my moral compass and my disgusting marriage and my somehow surprisingly successful parenthood, believe it not, yes, and her included, I decided to post here and more or less confirm my thoughts. He says, tonight, as she headed out for work, and yes, I'm going to paraphrase here for the sake of my already gargantuan post, she basically said that I need to have my decision for her by the next time we spoke, whether that meant I stay up for her to get home, or I wait and speak to her when she gets up mid-afternoon tomorrow. He means the decision about, okay, we'll close the open relationship, because she's fearful he'll rightfully so find somebody to replace her. This kind of tells me she wants me to leave. I know how much she's going to suffer when I do, because believe it or not, you have to be there to know, it's actually pretty apparent she loves me and our family. Dude, are you out of your mind? She doesn't love you. What the fuck? She found herself the most clueless, nice guy. I notice he mentioned he has his principles and morals. Well, that's great, but you don't need to honor them for someone that doesn't honor them back to you. Unfortunately for her, she's a chronic cheater and lacks self-control. Do not make excuses for her. Do not. Chronic cheater lacks self-control. She chooses to cheat. It's a choice. Come on here. Anyway, she says her anxiety can't handle being left on this unknown status. However, she also says that she isn't willing to continue the open relationship. So that if I choose that, then I default I'm leaving her. Look at her giving him her way or the highway here. And she knows she can get away with it. So I have two choices here, and I don't believe she wants me to leave. But I do believe she wants to get it over with one way or another. I just found it funny that even after all this, she managed to find one last way to manipulate the final moments to be on her terms. Because you let her. It makes me pseudo-sad for her because I don't even know if she realizes she's doing it at this point. Smack, smack, smack. Dude, she knows exactly what she's doing. Trust me on this. Now we're going to get to the good part, guys, where this guy finally wises up. He says here, I felt it may be important for context reasons to include that she's utilized Tinder to test this open relationship. Of course she's on Tinder. Now with an update that it's been... So he posts this story and then no updates for years. But on his original story, guys were tearing him a new one in the comment section. Wake the hell up. She's a cheater. You're an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. And by listening to them, and probably other things, leads to this update where he finally wakes the hell up and grows a pair. He says, it's been several years now, and many of you have reached out to me in support. I want to thank you all that you did. Things did eventually work out. I left her not long after these events for pretty obvious reasons. Praise Jesus. Thank you. I'm glad you left her. I filed for divorce. And although the divorce was a 2-year-long escapade with many small caveats throughout that time, in the end, I was granted full custody of my son. Aha! I had a feeling that would happen. And the marriage was absolved. Thank you again for those of you that reached out in support. I cannot thank you enough, and although my life continues to have its challenges, I'm no longer in that toxic, poisonous situation. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you to all the guys that wrote him and tore him a new one. This is obviously a few years old guy, but I thought we'd go in the cover here. I didn't think he'd do it until the very end there, really. But guys, you cannot get involved with someone like this. And the thing is, how things are today when you got so many gals out there through social media, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever's cool nowadays, flaunting themselves, showing off. Those things are like gateways to even worse things. You got so many young gals now through OnlyFans and everything, exposing themselves, getting into that line of work, that, guys, you're out of your mind to get in a relationship with these gals. No amount of attention you give her will never be enough. And if they're riding the carousel like a lot do, there's going to be no pair bonding there, and it's going to be a problem your whole life. Be aware of that for your relationship, guys, getting involved with gals. They're in this line of work, a dancer, or do certain things online to make money. I can just leave it at that. Be very careful. Definitely vet your girl who you're dating, everything, to find out exactly what she's like, because you just never know. And you get involved with someone that has a past, either offline or online, they come back to haunt you. You don't need that. And a lot of gals are really going to be learn the hard way. As more and more guys watch this content and realize, I'm not getting involved with those girls. I see what happens to the guys in these stories. A lot of these gals that were being strong and empowered, or stunning and brave, that's the term nowadays, it's going to bite them in the ass down the road when no guy wants to get involved with them. And then they'll start YouTube channels and cry and carry on, no guy wants me, and blah, blah, blah. But anyhow, this guy learned in the end very good. So let's learn from him and not make this mistake. Both getting involved with gals like these and letting them repeatedly cheat on you and hurt you when you're a good guy and deserve so much better. But also for guys to grow a pair, be a freaking man, stand up for yourself, not take any shit. Because women don't respect weakness. And the most common theme to all the stories I do are, yes, you got these gals that are a-holes. We can agree there. But these guys that are just spineless. When men work on themselves and have success in their own time frame and feeling good, have good friends, they take care of themselves, they're moving up in the world, they're going to feel good about themselves. They're not going to allow people in their lives to treat them like shit, to take advantage of them. But until then, there's a lot of weak guys out there because they feel like garbage. They'll take any attention they can get from any girl. And sadly, guys like this will be taken advantage of by gals that need that nice guy to pay the bills, to provide for their kids. You get the point. And these things happen. Now, this is an extreme case, of course. Not everybody's walking around married to a freaking exotic dancer, but you get the point. I don't want that to happen to the guys. Now, real quick, I'm going to read a few of the comments. I obviously led this guy in the right direction because they're pretty funny. This is obviously a few years old. One guy says here, get a effing divorce, mate. Actually, no, this is not okay. She's really a manipulative bitch. I beg of you to see through her bullshit. I know you made this post to rant, but this is not normal. She is a horrible person, seeking attention, abusing you while never giving you what you want. Please, for the love of God, leave her. You get enough of these comments so you can see why he finally woke up. Another guy says here, you, my friend, are trying to paint her out to be an okay woman. The fact that she's able to manipulate you the way she has just shows she has no respect for you as a woman or a wife. Sure, okay, she's a dancer, but not every one of them cheat, or sleep with other men. You sure about that, dude? She wants to have her cake and eat it too. The next thing you know, you're at the doctor's getting treated for something that she gave you on her adventures. Man up and let her go unless this is what you like. Get yourself a real woman who knows your worth. Another guy says here, dude, you married a stripper, accepting her cheating and allowing other men to F her. What exact kind of relationship were you expecting? Another one says here, she cheated on you again, on this time with your permission. Classic rope and dope move on her part. She already has someone picked out and has a history of cheating. Choose to talk about an open relationship. She sleeps with the other person, it wasn't great, comes home and calls it off. How should you feel? Like she cheated on you, because that's exactly what she did. Only she suckered you in the idea of an open relationship. You were never meant to sleep with someone else. It was all about her. You really need to understand that. And there were plenty of other comments, but this gets the point. In fact, I covered the nice ones, because let me tell you, there's a lot of guys really using some colorful words to get his attention. But it obviously works, so it turned out well in the end. So don't be like this guy. Again, not all you're going to be dating dancers, but dancers. But this goes for gals that are engaging in activities online to make money, OnlyFans, other things like that. Be careful. Or gals that have a history of hooking up with every dude in their freaking college dorm, multiple college dorms, and are saying you're insecure and weak because you want to have a relationship with her. Guys, don't do that. Be careful with the girls you get involved with, or marry if you do. Be with them for years, find out about their past, etc., etc., and walk away if you're mistreated. That's all I can say. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. If you like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.